Okay, real birth talk for a moment. There is nothing dignified about childbirth, and it's time to get really comfortable in your body before you go into that labor process, because it's a little bit primal. Even if you're not planning to have a natural birth and you are going to utilize pain relief methods that are available in the hospital, you will still have to experience components of your labor, typically, unless you are going in for a C-section or have been induced. And it can really kind of bring you up against blocks that you may experience within yourself. One of the primary, really basic blocks that I see women struggling with a lot is it's just immobility and stiffness. While I understand that there's a tightness that exists because of this expansion in the belly, and there's not the same sort of fluidity that we typically may have when we're not pregnant, the body is still capable of those movements, even if it feels like it's not. The primary thing that I see women doing that sort of blocks the progress of their labor, and also oftentimes increases the discomfort of the labor, is just this holding an erect posture. Often I will recommend utilizing a birth ball or a labor ball, and so somebody sits on the ball, and between contractions I'll see her, rocking. Joyce, this is how I should rock? Sure, go left and right, whatever, whatever feels comfortable. And then she starts to feel a contraction begin, and this is what happens. Everything becomes really still, immobilized. Look at that posture from the side. We just went from this movement that is sort of has mobility to it, to this. And sometimes even this. Tucking the pelvis under, really stiff, really firm, almost like a tension. I might even see a little bit of a shaking in the musculature. While it's counterintuitive, the way to not block that process is to actually become mobile and fluid through the tension that is building within the uterus. So as the uterus is doing what it does, and it's hugging and it's squeezing in order to mobilize the baby to move down into the birth canal, and then here, this is the skeletal structure the woman is dealing with right here. Now, if she tucks her pelvis under, that really narrows the space. But if you are able to tilt the pelvis forward, and it allows for some mobility of that area, it's a much more open, relaxed space in the bottom of it. So the number one way that you can utilize a birth ball is definitely have some sort of support. It really helps if you've got a bed or a chair or something in front of you that you can lean onto, and then keep those hips mobile and moving throughout the process of a contraction. If that is not comfortable and you prefer to be on the ground, you can still always utilize a birth ball, leaning on it this way and sort of being able to sort of move. The goal here is just not to become stiff and erect. Another important thing when it comes to this hip alignment juncture is not to tuck and round, although that's natural when you have a large belly with a baby in it, but actually to allow that sacrum to sort of come out this way. Again, we've got this, right? This is tucked, this is that way. And if you look internally, when you tuck, this tailbone creates more of a narrowing space. And when you tilt, that opens that space up and the tailbone can actually move a little bit out of the way. If there is nothing else that you remember when you get into your birth process, if you don't remember the breathing practices and that goes out the window, or all those other things, just loosen up.